Hello, boys and girls. Welcome to our ELA reading session for Thursday, September 17, 2020. Today we're going to be talking about genre. Okay. The standard we'll be covering says, I can read and comprehend literature, including stories, dramas, and poems, at the high end of the grades 4-5 text complexity band, independently and proficiently by the end of grade 5. All right. During the day today, I want you to go to my activity feed on my eClass page, and I want you to listen to Chapter 7 of Restart. See what reactions do the video club have to Chase joining, and which quote shows how Shoshana feels about Chase. So listen for that quote. Okay. Today we will be discussing genre. Now, genres are categories used to group different types of literary works such as nonfiction, fiction, and poetry. Okay, so most of the time when we see genre, we put them into two categories: fiction, nonfiction. Fiction, those made-up stories, those stories that you guys call fake, and some of them are not necessarily fake, they're just not true. And then we have nonfiction, which are true. Sometimes they can be stories, or they can just be a wealth of information. Okay, so today we're going to look at all of the fiction genres and a few of these nonfiction genres. Okay, so we're going to start out with the fiction, and here you see we have fantasy and realistic fiction. So fantasy is a story including elements that are possible, well, that are not possible. They're impossible, such as talking animals or magical powers. Kind of reminds me of what's the Bumblebee car? That story line. I cannot think of the name of it, but you know, Transformers. You know, cars. A car can transform into a person, and if a car transformed into a robot, real sci-fi stuff. That's all I got to say. Anyway, next you'll see we have realistic fiction. Now, realistic fiction really has to do with a story using made-up characters that could happen in real life. Like no, Miss Wright, that sounds like that happened to somebody. Probably did. But if we research the names of the characters, those people would not exist. Okay? All right. Then we have mystery. The Magic Treehouse. I was trying to think of that earlier. Magic Treehouse is an example of this. But a mystery is a suspenseful story about a puzzling event that is not solved until the end of the story. So Magic Treehouse is one of books. You probably maybe read it in 3rd grade. But one book that they have on here, you see this book right here? I used to read that book as a little girl. The Hardy Boys. And then they have a series called Nancy Drew and the Hardy Boys. Love it. And then you have your traditional literature, like your myths, your fairy tales, your folk tales, your fables, your legends, your myths. Those are traditional literature. And these are stories that have been passed down from one generation to the next generation, or one group of people to someone in their family, and then it just keeps going. And it kind of keeps the history of that culture. And just think about there's so many versions of Cinderella. Have you ever heard of Mufara's Beautiful Daughters? That is a folktale. And it's a traditional story that has been passed down from generation to generation. Okay. Then you have historical fiction. Historical fiction is a fictional story that takes place in a particular time period in the past. Now, the time period in these are so accurate, but if we research those people, they wouldn't exist. Okay? Oftentimes, the setting is real, but the characters are made up from the author's imagination. Okay? One of my favorite historical fiction books is this one right here, The Boy in the Striped Pajamas. It's a very sad story, but it's really good. Also, it was made into a movie. Yes. And then this is probably my favorite genre of fiction is sci-fi, because y'all know I like to read a lot of books about angels and good angels and bad angels. Okay. So that category of books would be under science fiction. It's a type of fantasy that uses science and technology, robots, and like I said, it'll talk about, you know, the spiritual world stuff that's out there. Go see like type this stuff. Okay. And guys, you seen Hunger Games? It was a book first. Yes. So, Maze Runner. Did y'all see that movie? Before it was a movie, it was a book. And the book is better. Okay. Now, let's move on to our informational books. These are, nonfiction books. Remember, nonfiction means it's true. This really happened. Okay. So, informational, one of the genres under nonfiction is informational. And these texts, they provide a lot of facts about a particular topic, right? So it could be, maybe you get an informational text on apples. So you're going to get all of these facts about all the different kinds of apples. It's just going to be on that particular topic. And they're going to stay on that topic, okay? And you'll see they'll talk about sports, animals, science, history, careers, travel, geography, space, weather, etc. Okay. Then you have biographies. These are stories about a real person's life written by another person. Okay. So here you see some examples. Who was Walt Disney? Wasn't written by Walt Disney, but this is going to give you all the facts about Walt Disney's life, or the adventures of Babe Ruth. They're going to talk about all the adventures that Babe Ruth encountered while playing baseball and probably some other things. But it's going to be true. And of course, Hidden Figures. They even made a movie out of it. Okay? And then we have autobiographies. Now, autobiographies are stories of a real person's life, but it's written by that person. Okay? So you have Simone Biles. She's written her own book about her own life. It's called Courage to Soar. Okay? I have another book that's not on this list, but the author is what the story is all about. His name is Frank Peretti. And he written a book. That whole book is just about how he was born, what happened to him when he was in school, and then how he became the famous author that he is. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen. So there you have the genres that I want to expose you to that we'll be talking about throughout this year. Okay? So let's look at Restart. Restart is a book that we've been reading. We know it's fictional because if we research Chase Ambrose, the book would come up. Okay? So what kind of fictional book is this? Well, if we go back, first of all, Chase Ambrose sounds like he could be a real person, right? There's nothing in here about him, animals talking. No, it's nothing in here like, oh, this happened during the civil rights movement. No. It's not historical fiction. This is not even talking about giving specific dates and times about someone's life. No, so we know it's not nonfiction, it's fictional. Sounds like a real person. Sounds like it really happened. This is realistic fiction. Okay? So that's how you're going to do. You're going to think, what kind of fiction is this? What's happening in this book? What is it saying? Do I see animals talking? That would be fantasy. Do I see it during a historic time period? That would be historical fiction. Okay? Let's do another one. Here, piggy, piggy. Y'all remember that story? Okay. Now, here's what you can do. You can read this, and then I want you to identify in the chat, tell me, what genre do you think Here, Piggy, Piggy is? And then I want you to tell me why you think that. All right? All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is the end of our mini lesson for today. You will go to my eClass page, you will click on the link, and you will complete the task card assignment that is attached to the eClass link. When you are finished, you are to go to Epic or get a book from your from your home library and read. Okay? You have until 10 o'clock. Okay? Have a great day. I'll see you all later.